let's jump right into this explainer, grade 9. But look, we're doing things a little differently today. I want you to imagine I'm not just your host, but actually a 14-year-old Kalinago boy. Yep, I'm about your age, and I'm ready to share my life story with you. And let me tell you right now, my journey to manhood, it's literally paved with intense trials, relentless training, and just pure survival. So what do you expect to achieve by the time you're 15? Seriously, think about your life right now, sitting there in your classroom. You're probably, stressing over a math test, trying to make a sports team, or just figuring out who you're hanging out with this weekend, right? Well, contrast that with my reality. For me, turning 14 or 15 isn't just about blowing out candles. It's about facing a brutal life-or-death initiation. It is the exact moment I have to prove I have the courage to be a man, a true warrior for my people. Literally, my entire childhood has been a build-up to this exact age. And that preparation started really early. It all began with entering the men's carbet. I was 4 or maybe 5 years old. Just a toddler. That's when I was taken from my mother. Imagine that. I was brought to live exclusively with the men in the carbet, which is our large communal men's house. The only way I could have stayed behind with my mom was if it was decided I was going to be a priest. But, I wasn't chosen for the priesthood. I was chosen for the path of the warrior. That meant leaving the absolute comfort of my mother's arms and stepping into this incredibly strict, disciplined world of grown men at an age when I couldn't even really comprehend what war was. And in that world, the focus was completely on survival, specifically making better weapons and deadly poison. Inside the Carvier, my elders drilled it into my head that our survival depended completely on our tools of war. Now, the Tainos, they were our baseline, the standard we absolutely had to outmatch. They were using simple wooden darts, maybe some bone-tipped spears. But us, we engineered far superior bows with incredible tension that could launch arrows over massive distances. But honestly, our true advantage was chemical. I had to learn how to extract the toxic sap of the manchineel tree and carefully, and I mean very carefully, boil it down over a fire to create a highly deadly poison. Then, I'd apply this thick, lethal paste right to the tips of my arrows. It required absolute precision. I mean, one slip-up with that poison could cost me my own life. But mastering it, that meant I could drop an enemy with just a single toxic graze. So, you want to hear my warrior training resume? It was grueling. From a super young age, I was constantly forced to prove my courage. How? By taking physical pain without flinching. Seriously, a true Kalinago boy does not cry out. Period. But beyond just acting tough, I had to master some pretty wild physical feats. I was trained to shoot my arrows accurately while actively swimming in the river. Just try to picture that, treading water, fighting a river current, and still hitting a moving target. Crazy, right? And when I got hungry, no one was handing me a plate of food. I had to shoot my own meals right out of the highest branches of the forest canopy. Every single day was a test of my aim, my endurance, and my absolute lethal focus. Which all leads up to the most important day of my life, the ultimate warrior initiation. The day is finally here. I'm 14, almost 15 years old, and the scene is, it's terrifying. I'm placed completely alone, seated on a wooden stool, right in the center of the village. And standing before me, every single seasoned, battle-hardened warrior in my community. Imagine that heavy silence, all those eyes just piercing right through me, waiting to see if I'm going to crack under the pressure. Then, my father steps forward. While I'm sitting there desperately trying to steady my racing heartbeat and my breathing, he sternly and formally lays out all my heavy duties and the immense responsibilities I'm about to take on. It's a moment of deep honor, for sure, but also agonizing anticipation for the brutal ordeal that comes next. Because now it's time for enduring the unbearable pain. Okay, grade 9, brace yourselves because this is the literal sequence of my trial. First, a live bird is brought out. It's brutally beaten against my body until it dies. And while this is happening, this terrified bird is frantically scratching and pecking at my skin. But guys, that's just the start. Next, they take the incredibly sharp, jagged teeth of an agouti, which is a large rodent, and they use them to vigorously scratch and scrape deep into my skin, opening up these fresh wounds all across my chest and back. And then, step 3. The absolute ultimate agony. Burning, fiery pepper is rubbed directly into those fresh open scratches, smeared mercilessly all over my entire body. My skin was on fire, but my face was stone. That was my internal reality. The physical agony of the scratching, the pecking, and that burning pepper, unimaginable. But remember my training back in the carbet? The strict cultural rule of the Kalinago is that during this entire horrific ordeal, I had to show absolutely zero sign of pain or discomfort. Not a single tear, not a wince, not even a quick gasp. If I flinched, I failed the whole thing. I literally had to disconnect my terrified mind from my burning skin. I had to remain perfectly, completely stoic in front of all those village warriors to definitively prove I was worthy.
But if you make it through, it's a true rebirth as a warrior.
Surviving that test actually earns you some incredible rewards. After enduring the pepper and the scraping without making a peep, the initiation keeps going. I'm given the raw heart of that very bird to eat, which symbolizes taking on its spirit and courage. After that, I'm sent straight back to the carpet for a strict fast. It's basically a spiritual and physical cleansing. But once that fast is over, I am no longer that 4-year-old kid crying for his mom. I'm in the inner circle now. I'm officially taught the secret warrior's language, a language completely hidden from outsiders and children. I drop my childhood identity, I receive a powerful new warrior name, and most importantly, I finally earn the right to stand shoulder to shoulder with the men and go to war. So I'm going to leave you with a question to really think about. Do you think you'd have the fortitude to survive the Kalinago path? As a grade 9 student right now, could you mentally and physically endure being taken from your home at age 4, mastering deadly manchineel poisons, and sitting on that stool at age 14, covered in burning pepper without shedding a single tear? It's a pretty stark reminder of how vastly different human experiences can be and the absolute extremes of discipline the Kalinago culture demanded of its young men. Anyway, thank you so much for walking my path with me today in this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time.